everybody. I'm Erica. I am here to chat a little bit with you about Ayurveda, India's traditional holistic medical system. And if you've been tuning in for the past couple of weeks, you've learned a little bit about how Ayurveda is an elemental system, right? So, we think that the earth and nature and the human composition is comprised of 5 elements, and then those elements combine to form what we call doshas in the body. And doshas, you'll find if you're, kind of dipping your toe into Ayurveda, you'll find these like quizzes online to determine what your dosha is, right? So there are 3 of them, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And really it's a little misleading. I mean, you're born with a particular, what we call prakriti, like a particular constitution. And that's just kind of like your DNA. That's not going to change throughout your life. But people do tend to have, a predominance of 1 or maybe 2 doshas in their body. But we have all 3, right? Because the doshas are responsible for all of the biological functions that take place in the body. So, for example, Kapha, which is comprised of the earth and water elements, Kapha is responsible for all of the structure and stability in the body. So things like muscle and adipose tissue, connective tissue, all the moisture and lubrication, like in the sinuses, the digestive tract, the synovial fluid in the joints that keep things, nice and smooth and slippery, so you're not, cracking all the time. And then Pitta is the fire and water element in the body. That is responsible for all of the metabolic function. So, actual like digestion of food and breaking that food up into smaller and smaller particles to actually nourish all the layers of tissues in the body. Pitta is responsible for all hormonal function. Anything to do with the blood, so like pigmentation or the color and luster of the skin is Pitta. Pitta's also more subtle qualities is like the ability to mentally digest stuff, right? So kind of the intellect or kind of the sharpness of the mind. And then Vata is the air and space element in the body. Vata is responsible for all movement, right? So that is circulation of blood and lymph, circulation of breath, right? The respiration. The peristalsis of digestion and elimination is Vata. Vata is also nervous system conduction, right? And the functionings of the mind, like that more subtle aspect of the mind, which can, circulate throughout the entire body. So, we have all 3 of them. Some people might have a predominance of 1 or more, but Vata is really kind of the other 2 are inert, right? Vata is the one that helps to move the other 2 around the body. So if Vata gets out of whack, it can cause a lot of problems, right? I think there's like 120 diseases in Ayurveda that are caused by Vata, right? So I thought today we might, especially in this time of pandemic, and I think everyone's Vata is a little out of whack, we might practice some like grounding and centering exercises, or an exercise that's grounding and centering with a little bit of breath work that helps to pacify Vata, right? So that other things don't start to get out of whack, right? So if you're down, let's find like a comfortable seated position. Doesn't have to be cross-legged, right? But whatever seat you take, you want to feel like you are sitting right on top of your sit bones, right? So your pelvis is neither spilling forwards or backwards, you're just right on top. And then you draw the shoulders back over the hips with the arm bones just hanging right in the middle of the rib cage. So you're neither like overly presenting, but nor are you hunched. Hands just rest on the legs or in the lap. Okay. And then if your head is pitching forward, draw the ears back in line with the shoulders, slight drop of the chin to lengthen through the back of the neck. And you'll kind of energetically root down into the sit bones, but if you imagine you have a marionette string, it's lifting you up through the crown of the head. So that subtle action just creates a little more space between the vertebrae. And then you can either close your eyes altogether or just look at a single spot down the tip of the nose. If you keep the eyes open, keep the focus soft so you're aware of your peripheral vision. And then bring your attention to sound. No reason for the mind to try to pop up and create some narrative around what's causing it. Right? Just try to stick with the pure vibrational quality of sound washing over you. Identify which sound is farthest. And which sound the closest. Sound might even be coming from you, right? The gurgling of the belly, maybe the whisper of breath. And from sound, bring your attention to the movement of air around you. And just the surface of the skin, feel the temperature. Right, which part of the body feels warmest? Which part the coolest? Notice the parts of the body that are touching something solid. And any variations in the weight or pressure between those parts. Right, which part the heaviest? Which the lightest? Now, from your external environment, bring your focus even more inward to what you notice happening inside of the body. And there might be something quite pressing, jumping out at you. But you can also more systematically scan head to toes. Just noticing whatever you notice. Okay, from the body, turn your attention to the mind. Notice how quickly or slowly your thoughts have been moving. If there's any particular pattern to the content of your thoughts leading up to this point. And also the emotional state. Which adjectives could you use to describe how you're feeling? Okay, and that's not to judge, it's just to acknowledge. Now from the body to the mind, notice the breath. And the breath is that thread, that link between the body and the mind. Notice the pace and depth. And if there's any texture to it, right? If the sinuses are at all dry or congested, right? What's the temperature of the air you're breathing in versus breathing out? Which nostril is clearer? And as you follow the breath through the nostrils, down the throat, into the lungs, consciously relax the muscles of the abdomen. So that as the lungs fill, the belly can also inflate. Okay, and it's not just the belly. You can send the breath into the low back, around the crest of the pelvis. Actually visualize the breath flowing there. From the belly, draw the breath back up into the rib cage. And again, the rib cage can expand in all directions, front to back, side to side, bottom to top. You can breathe all the way up into the armpits. Breathe into the chest and the upper back. You can feel the breath rise all the way up to the collarbones, but keep the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. All right, breathe into the back of the heart. See the breath swirl around the organ. And you can see the breath flow all the way up through the neck and into the base of the skull. Keep your throat and your jaw relaxed. And then finally, find a little more space between the breaths. You can hold the inhale for a few moments. Full capacity of the lungs. Okay, nothing forced there, it's just the natural completion of a full breath in. And likewise, hold out the exhale. For even a few moments longer, give the breath time to fully expel and just hold on empty. Before you inhale again. Okay, take a few more cycles like that, noticing any effects that the breath has on the body and the mind. Now, if the eyes have been closed, gently blink them open, let some light and form enter. And thank you so much for joining me today. I hope your vata is pacified. If you want to find out more about Ayurveda or connect with me, I teach 7 public classes at Down Under Yoga. You can go to their website, downunderyoga.com, and check out the schedule. They're all virtual now, so location doesn't matter. You can also go to my website, Erica Fritz Yoga. That's Erica with a K, Fritz with a Z. And I see clients with, for Ayurvedic health counseling. I teach corporate and private yoga and meditation classes. So please do reach out if you have any questions at all. Okay, we'll see you next time.